Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another episode of What the Real Podcast. I'm your host, Darnell.
And I'm Brittany.
So before we start, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you follow us, follow the podcast. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/cinemacritics. So what are we doing today?
Today we're going to do a movie review of The Princess Bride.
Yes.
I never heard of this movie. Surprisingly, I actually liked it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I did like it. I was surprised. I was like, oh, it's from 1987. Oh, I might not like it, but surprisingly, it grabbed me in. I actually liked it.
I love this movie. I used to watch this movie all the time growing up, and it's another quotable movie. I can quote this movie like crazy. The writing is just so good and so witty. The comedy hits like
with the guy says
so good.
The guy who's like Inigo Montoya or something like that.
Become my father. Die.
I was saying it to my boyfriend when I was watching it, and I was like, I am Hakuna Matata.
Oh, wow.
And my boyfriend's like, you're totally wrong. And I was just like,
oh my God. But this movie is just, it's so great. I'm happy that you like it because this definitely holds dear in my heart. Like, this is something I always watch all the time.
You did a good pick.
And it was, it's so good. It's so good. A great cast, great cast, and it's just perfect. Like the writing, I was saying, the writing is done is nicely. The music is really good with the scenes, the fight scenes, like the sets. Everything is just really good.
It is. I definitely agree with you on that. I was like, at first I was like, oh, The Princess Bride. When I saw the picture, I was like, I'm not going to like this. I was like, is this going to be some romantic movie? And it's just going to be boring. But no.
Yeah. It seems like that, too. The Princess Bride. And you see the cover, and it's just Wesley and, what is her name? Buttercup.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there looking at each other, and you think, oh, this is just some, gushy love story,
Looks
like,
can be deceiving.
Yeah, like The Notebook Part 2 or something. So let's break the movie down.
So first it starts off with a kid in his bedroom, and he's sick, and his grandpa comes over, and the kid's a little upset that his grandpa's coming over, but the grandpa came over because he's sick, and he brought him a gift. What is that gift he brought him?
It's a book.
The book, you say?
Yeah. The Princess Bride, the book. And it's actually kind of funny because The Princess Bride is actually a book as well. Oh. And I think it's written by the same actual writer of the movie, wrote the book.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not like, it's not too far like along. Like, it's only a few years like they made the movie after he wrote the book.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's weird how it is because the book is the same thing where the grandfather goes and reads the book to his grandson.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
They cut through parts and they kind of, it's actually kind of funny how that works out with the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he reads him a book. Obviously, the grandson, Fred Savage.
Yes, Fred Savage.
Yeah. He don't really want to read it because it's a love story. Yeah.
He's like, kissing, no, thank you, Grandpa. Why are you reading this to me? And he's like, hold on, kiddo. You'll enjoy this book.
Yeah. He said, is it a kissing book? Yeah. So he gets into it, and what is it? They teach so it's about, you see Wesley. Well, no, they even call him Wesley. It's the farm boy.
Farm boy, yes.
Farm
they
boy.
start off with farm boy.
Farm boy and Buttercup, and you see that, he's working and she's always calling him farm boy, do this for me.
And he always says, as you wish.
As you wish.
You wish.
He keeps on doing it, and I guess she finally clicks like, oh, well, he's not saying as you wish. He's pretty much saying I love you every time.
Yeah.
Like, and then we see them fall in love.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was like, they're so cute together.
They fall in love, and then he has to go. I forget what exactly reason why he was leaving.
I believe it was because of the wedding. he didn't have money for the wedding, so he left to go get money so they can afford it.
Okay, so he had to go and work. I forget, it was somewhere on the water, and then
Pirates
he was attacked.
captured the ship,
Yeah,
and she was told that he was killed.
yeah, because Roberts, right? The pirate Roberts, I believe that's his name.
I think so, yeah.
Anyone he captured, he kills. He doesn't keep anyone alive.
Yeah.
So
she was crushed, heartbroken. It's like her whole world just came crashing down.
Yeah. To the point where she said, I am never going to love again.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
And what do you know? 5 years later, she's
5 years
married
later.
a prince.
Yeah. So
but she's not in love with him now.
Yeah. So it skips 5 years later. And then we see Prince Humperdinck.
Yep.
And then I don't know if you noticed, like, there's a lot of weird names. Like Humperdinck, Buttercup.
Yeah.
But we see that I guess they decided to pick. I don't know exactly how he picked her, but it's like they pick someone who is not royalty to become the princess.
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what they were doing. She got picked, and they're planning to get married.
Yes. And she's not happy about it. She kept telling him, I don't love you. And he's like, one day you will fall in love with me.
That's kind of crazy saying like, yo, I don't love you. He should have just been like, all right, well, I'll just go pick somebody else then.
I'll let you go.
Yeah.
But we'll find out why he keeps her later on.
Yes, why he
we'll
kept
get
her.
into that.
So, what happened? So, she, what exactly they were doing? She was going.
She was riding a horse.
Oh yeah, she was riding a horse. She was just riding the horse. I forgot.
She said that was the only thing that brings her happiness was riding horse.
Yes, that's right.
So she went out and she was riding the horse, and she came across these 3 men.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, excuse me, we're from the circus or something like that.
Yeah.
We're lost. You know where to go. And she goes to help them. And then they're like, is there anyone around? And she's like, no, there's no one around for miles. And she's like, then the guy's like, good, then no one will hear you. And they kidnap her.
Yeah, kidnap her. Vizzini, Mr. Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Vizzini, Fezzik, and Inigo, whatever. I forgot how they pronounce it. It's his
Inigo
Montoya. But it's actually kind of funny because Fezzik, the real big guy,
yeah,
he's Andre the Giant. He's a wrestler. He used to wrestle like Hulk Hogan back in the day.
Yeah, I had such a hard time understanding him
yeah.
in the movie. I was like, I don't know what he's saying, but I like this guy.
He's pretty. I'm really happy he did this, and he's actually showed like he's actually can be funny, like a funny guy. I heard he was like a funny guy.
His hand in one of the scenes, his hand was like the size of the guy's head.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a
I was
big
just
dude.
like, oh my gosh, that hand is huge. Actually, my boyfriend pointed it out, but I was like, oh my gosh, that hand is huge.
Yeah, Andre the Giant is really, really big dude. So they kidnap her. They're on a boat to take her away. Fassini goes, yeah, we're gonna kill you. Like he's pretty much.
They want to start a war,
Yeah.
so he's like, we're gonna kill you so we can start a war. I don't remember who it's between.
I forgot.
It starts with a G.
Yeah, it was. I forgot the name of it. I don't think I wrote it down.
I didn't write it down because I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah, he's wanted to start a war, and actually, I guess when I was younger, I never really put 2 and 2 together. But Humperdinck hired them to take her and kill her. That was the original plan. Because why would Vizzini even need to start the war? Because Humperdinck hired him.
Yep.
And he hired Inigo and Fezzik.
Yep.
So yeah. So
do this.
I never really put 2 and 2 together because obviously when you're younger, you're not really thinking about that.
Yeah,
This political
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
But they take her and they're on the boat.
And the 2 men that are with them, Fezzik and Inigo or whatever his name is, they don't want to kill her. They're like hesitant about it. They're like, we thought we were just going to kidnap her and stuff like that. He's like, you guys don't have to do the killing. I will. Just do this for me and stuff like that. So they listen to him and they're going. And what do they spot in the distance?
They spotted another ship just following. And they're like, there's somebody following us. And you see Vizzini's like, oh no, that's just probably a fisherman and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then we hear what was that? Buttercup. She just hops in the water. She was like, "Yeah, this is my way.
Yeah.
This is my attempt to escape."
I was like, "You go, girl!" And then next thing you know, there's giant eels coming.
The eels. What were they called? The howling eels or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I like everything has a name, and I remember paying attention to this when I rewatched it. Is that they kind of build the world up because everything there's the shrieking eels. That's what it was called.
Shrieking, yes.
Yeah, the shrieking
eel.
eagles.
Yeah.
The what is it?
I know they had giant rats.
Yeah,
in
the
there.
giant rats. The ROUSs. The giant rats.
Yeah.
That's called RUOSs. The rats of an imaginable size. I think was it rats of something size.
Yeah.
Enormous size. Rats of enormous size. That's the RUSs. They had the what is it? The pit of despair, the cliffs of insanity, the fire swamps, these sorts. So all these things like build up this world. They have all these cool names for all these things, and
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, they got a name for everything. This is fantastic. I was like, not many things do this.
Yeah. So she's about to get eaten by one of these eels, and then we see Fezzik kind of grab her up, save her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't they like punch it or something? Or?
Yeah, he like hits it over the head, but I think he punches it.
I think he punches it or something.
He hits it, yeah.
And then grabs her out of the water and rescues her. So there goes that plan.
Yeah. So they're make it to the the cliffs of insanity.
Yep.
And we see Fezzik, he's super strong. He's sitting there pulling all of them up on a rope.
And we're not even talking about slow. We're talking about they're going up this rope fast.
Yeah.
Pulling every single one of them up. So he's carrying 3 people plus his own body weight.
Yeah. Just up the rope. Just all upper muscle. And so we see this man in black following them going up the rope as well. And he's gaining on them. Vicini is like pretty pissed that he's gaining on him. He's yelling at Fezzik.
Stop him.
So they make it to the top. They cut the rope.
Yeah, and you think the guy who's coming up in black is going to go down. And you look over the cliff. Yeah. There he is hanging there on the rocks. And he's like, he didn't fall. So he leaves Inigo there to take care of him. And he's waiting. He's like, can you hurry up and get up here? He's like, well, if you want to toss me something, go ahead so I can get up there faster.
And he goes, I don't think I believe you're going to just give me that rope. And he's like, I'll be all right. And then he goes, he said, I swear on my father, I won't kill you until you get up.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, fine. So he gets up there and they rest before they fight.
Yeah. It takes a couple minutes before they get into it.
They even talk about Inigo's backstory where when he was younger, his father was a blacksmith. And one of the king's men with 6 fingers on his right hand that he asked for a sword, and his father made him a really good sword, and the guy didn't want to buy it. He didn't want to spend the money. He offered him just a little bit of money and ended up killing his dad right in front of him. And then Inigo tried to kill him himself, and then he didn't kill him. He just gave him some cuts,
scars on his
face,
like this.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video, it's on his cheeks.
Yeah.
It's like higher up on his cheeks.
2 scars on the cheek, and he said that was 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years of revenge he was looking out for. And he's like, do you happen to have a 6th finger on your right hand? And he's like, no.
It's like, oh man, shucks. Well, I'll find him after I kill you. And then we see them fighting. Yeah,
they fight. First off, they start off with their left hand, which is kind of, I think it's funny, because they start off left-handed, and the guy's like, you know what the thing is? I'm not left-handed. And then he goes and switches to his right hand. And then they fight for like another minute, and then the guy in black goes, I'm not left-handed either. I don't know why I found that so funny.
Oh, it's so good.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, we had a little joke in there.
Yeah, because Inigo's supposed to be this awesome swordsman, and then he gets beat by this guy in black. And also, one thing about this fight is like, if you listen to the music, it goes with the fight, like
Yeah.
all the points and all that stuff. I think it was a really cool fight. We see them like on the like pole. We see Inigo try
Oh
to
yeah,
grab the pole,
they jump on the pole and
and
they
he's
do
like,
like a little flip
yeah.
stuff.
He's
Yeah.
like, who are you? Oh, and then yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they fight for a few minutes.
Yeah.
They're doing all these little trips. Someone throws his sword up in the air and
Mhm.
catches it and stuff. And then oh my god, I forget how the fight ends.
Oh, we see well, Man in Black, he kind of just beats him like um
Oh,
he
he hits him in the back of the head.
yeah, like he beats him and he actually disarms him with his sword. And
Yeah.
then Inigo goes on his knees like, "All right, kill me quick, kill me quick." And then
Yeah,
we
that's
see the
right.
Man in Black is like, "No, I'm not going to kill you." And then he hits him over the head and knocks him out.
Yeah, so Men in Black is good. He's a good guy so far as you can tell.
So, did you know it was him right away?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
oh
I was
wow.
like, I was I was thinking, I
Mm,
was like, there's something to this because the Princess Bride, I was like, when I saw the picture of the
mm,
cover, I was like, this guy's still alive. And I was like, there's something fishy about this guy. I'm like, someone sent him or
mm,
something like that, or the prince sent him. But I just didn't pinpoint it
yeah.
until he took until he said, as you wish. And I was like,
Oh,
no
not until then.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I knew there was something fishy. I
Mm,
just wasn't sure what it was. And then when he said, as you wish,
mm,
it confirmed it.
yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah. So he beats him. He goes, and then we see that he catches up to Fezzik and Vizzini, and Vizzini tells Fezzik like, "Hey, all right, take this boulder and just throw it at his head." Kill him. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I want a fair fight." It's like, "No, just do it." So he ends up not hitting over the head. He just throws a warning shot, and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I can just kill you anytime I want," you know.
Yeah. So pretty much they're like, we're going to fight, but no weapons, bare
Mm.
hands.
Yeah. And I'm very surprised he won this fight because Fezzik is a big dude. But
Yeah. He jumped on him and was just choking him the
mm,
entire time while Fezzik was like banging him against rocks and stuff like that. But he ended up choking him out. He was still alive,
yeah,
but he choked him out. And then he checked him to make sure he was still alive,
yeah,
which I thought was nice.
yeah, yeah. He said after he knocked him out, he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna wake up with the worst headache," and then he was like, "Hopefully, when you wake up, you'll find a big woman to satisfy you or something like that."
Yeah.
Uh,
So then he's on his way to go find Vizzini.
Yeah. Yeah, he ends up finding him. Obviously, Vizzini can't fight. He's not a fighter. So they do a battle of wits.
Yep, battle wits.
Battle of wits. Inconceivable. So we see them. He's sitting there and he's like, all right, well, they had 2 wine glasses. So we see the Man in Black. He grabs, he's like, all right, we're going to do a game of wits. And I'm going to have these 2 wine glasses and I'm gonna put poison in one of them and then we're gonna pick and then we're
Yep.
gonna drink it. And so he puts it in, he turns around and puts it in it, and then he puts the glasses in front of each other, and then Vicini's working it out, trying to say, what type of guy are you? Would you put it in front of you or would you put it in front of me?
Yeah.
And he was breaking it down. And it's kind of funny because Vizzini is the way he talks, like it's just funny as hell. And he
Yeah.
ends up trying to trick him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's that over there?
Yeah, ends up.
And he looks and then he switches the cups.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, drink up, drink up." He ends up drinking, and he goes, "Ah, that's what you get. You're trying to, pull fast one on a Sicilian.
Yeah.
And he ends up dying. And just
He's like, I switched them. And he's like, hmm? And then she's like, how'd you know he was going to switch the glasses like that? And he's like, I put them in both of them. I just built up an immunity to the
Yeah.
poison.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's hilarious though.
Yeah.
So he takes Princess, well, not Princess yet, but Buttercup. They start going and she's like, "Hey, the Prince Humperdinck will find you. He's the greatest tracker
Of all time.
of all time. He'll
Yeah.
find you. So, whatever you want, just let me go." And he's like, and we see the Men in Black. He actually, pisses her off because he wants to find out if she actually loves
Yep.
Humperdinck. He's like, what I forgot exactly what he said, but he was trying to, see if she loved him, and she was like, no, I don't love him, and he was saying, oh well, where she was like, oh, I lost my love 5 years ago, and he goes like, oh well, you just happened to about to get married that quick after you lost your love.
Yeah.
And she was pissed, and so she
pushes him down a hill.
Down the hill, yeah.
And as he's going down the hill, he yells, "As you wish."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh my god!" Then she fell down the hill.
She falls down the hill herself. Like I said, the comedy just all hits. I love the comedy in this movie. So good.
Yeah, and they get up and they're like, "Do they kiss?"
Yeah, they kiss there.
They kiss, and then they realize the prince and them are catching up. So then they have to go into that forest.
Yeah, the fire swamp.
Fire swamp.
The fire swamp.
They go in there, and her dress catches on fire pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and he puts it out, and then they sink in quicksand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, she does.
She falls in there.
Buttercup does, and he jumps in after her. He grabs onto a vine, and goes in there, and you see him pull out, and then they get surrounded by what?
Breathing the RUSs, and it's kind of funny because he's like, "Oh, we got the fire worked out, we got the quicksand worked out," and she's like, "Oh, what about the RUSs?" She's like, "Oh, some things they're probably not even real," and then they just jumps at him. And
we're talking about like giants.
Yeah. It's
rats.
a giant rat, and you can see it's like a guy in a costume, and he's like running around. And it's hilarious, and he gets really like beat up. Like that thing he had trouble fighting that thing.
Yeah, and then it went to go after the princess, and he protected her, and he catches the rat on fire.
Yep.
And then he stabs it to death.
Oh yeah.
Put it out of its misery.
And then you hear the music, goes with the stabs and all that stuff. Yeah. So they ended up getting out of the fire swamp, and right after they get out of the fire swamp, we see Prince Humperdinck find them like right away.
I know. I was like, no. I was like, this guy's up to no good.
Yeah. So she ends up like kind of like sacrificing herself.
Yeah, to keep him safe, to keep Wesley safe.
Yeah. So she's like, just go. I'll go with him. You're just get out of here. And then we see how bad Humperdinck is. He's like, okay, you know what? We'll let you go. And then he tells this guy, all right, just go kill him. Like kill him afterwards. Like get rid of him, So we see he's a really bad guy. He's actually, I really like him as a villain. I think he works really well.
Yeah, he was a good villain. Yeah, definitely.
He's definitely like an a-hole. And he's a coward at the same time,
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. So what happens next? We see that
he wakes up in that room with that albino guy.
With the
albino.
Yeah.
And the albino is taking care of him, like cleaning up his wound. And he's like, the albino's like, don't bother trying to break out of those chains. They're super tight. While he's cleaning his wound. And he's like, why are you cleaning my wounds if you're going to kill me? He's like, oh, what did he say?
He said, he was saying about the guy, he likes to, he was saying something about like he liked to administer pain, but
in their best health or something.
Yeah, you gotta
like
be
that.
in your best health so he really wants to like push the limits of pain he can put on people with the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's there, and then and then it flashes back to the prince. He's sharpening a knife, and he's saying, he has the 500th anniversary to take care of. He has to plan his wife's death.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, just so he can start the war. He wants this war to happen.
We find out, yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, he wants to start the war. I forgot exactly why he wants the war, but he definitely wants to start the war. He's going to kill Buttercup and then blame it on the other territory.
Yeah, that place starts with a G.
Yeah, Gildan, I believe it's Gildan.
Oh, that might be it.
I think so.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So he wants to kill Princess Buttercup when they get married, and then blame it on Gildan so he can start a war.
Yeah.
I forgot why he wants to start the war, but yeah, he wants to start the war. But yeah, we see like, okay, he's a bad guy. He's trying to kill her. And then we see that I forgot the guy's name, Rugen, Count Rugen. That's his name. That's
Yeah.
the six finger guy.
Yes.
So we see him with Wesley, and he's telling him like, "Hey, I'm gonna cause you a lot of pain," and they start the machine up, use the machine on him,
Yeah.
and they put it at like 0.5, like a 0.5, like it was just like turned up one.
Yeah, it was the lowest
It was
it can
the
be
lowest
possible.
setting,
Yeah.
and he used it, and it broke Wesley. He was crying.
Yeah, I was like, dang, this machine.
It's serious, yeah.
He's like, I sucked a year of your life out of you.
It's crazy, like just 1 year. I mean, just using that like one notch up, and it broke him like that.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. That must be serious.
I felt so bad for him. I
Yeah.
was like, how is he gonna escape this? I was like, is the princess gonna find him
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah.
But
So, before we get into the next part, we see all throughout, like we see Fred Savage's character like stops grandfather from reading the book, and he's like, he didn't like the kissing part, he
Yeah.
keeps stopping him, and then another part he stopped him, and Grandma was like, "Oh, you want me to stop?" And he's like, "No, we're good, keep going." Like you can see him as he's getting through the story, he's really, really getting involved. He's like getting
Yeah.
involved with the story. So I thought that was really cool that they stopped all throughout and checking up on Fred Savage's character. He's
yeah,
really enjoying it.
add more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it add more to the story. I like that.
What happened next? So
And then the princess she said the king died.
oh yeah. So
The
yeah.
princess is marrying the prince, so she becomes the queen. And then she wakes up and it was only just a dream.
Yeah, there was that weird dream sequence where she's about to get married, and then some lady goes, "Oh, you're you leaving your true love, and you're getting married." Boo.
Yeah,
Boo.
boo.
So she wakes up, and she goes straight to Humperdinck. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I don't love you, and I'll kill myself
I have to marry you.
if I have to marry you. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that part. I'm like, yeah, that probably won't go well nowadays with a Disney movie about her killing herself if she gets married.
Yeah, no, that definitely
know?
would not go well. And then she tells him that, and she's like, my true love will come for me, Wesley. He's gonna come for me, and he's like, okay, if you insist, I'll send 4 ships out there to go find him. You write 4 different letters so I can give it to each one of my ships, and they'll go out there to go find him.
Yeah.
Long behold, they had Wesley the entire
Had
time.
him locked up entire time. And then he gets pissed. And right? That was the thing that pissed him off.
Yeah,
Or-
he's like, he had to get things together, and then it jumps to the scene where it's like, you need to clear the forest.
Yeah. The
The
thieves forest.
Yeah, the thieves
Yeah.
forest.
Clear
So he's
them
like,
out.
you have to clear them all out. He's
Mhm.
like, do whatever it takes to clear them out. And then that's when we get back to Fezzik and
Inigo.
Inigo.
Yeah.
And Inigo is drunk.
Yeah.
He's not cooperating. He's not listening. And Fezzik feeds him, dips his face in water and stuff. He's just shoving his face in water.
Yeah.
He's like, I was just like, is he gonna drown him? I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah. He's like, all right, that's enough. All right, I'm good.
He's like, I'm back to normal now.
Yeah. And so he wanted to Fezzik tells him about Rugen, that Rugen was spotted, the man with 6 fingers.
Yep.
He was spotted, and he goes like, "Oh man, okay, cool. But we're gonna need some help
Yep.
to go after him." So they're gonna like, all right, let's find Wesley.
Yeah.
Let's go look for him, the Men in Black.
So they're looking, and before that happens, the Count Rugen goes, no, it was the prince, because the princess pissed him off so bad
Yeah.
about that he's going to come find her. So he goes and he turns the machine all the way up, and he turned it on, and he's screaming, and you hear his screams everywhere. The princess hears it, Fezzik hears it, and they go look for him, and then they come across the albino, and they fight him, and they find his little secret passageway to his lair or whatever you want to call it.
It was called the Pit of Despair.
Pit of Despair.
Yeah, because the reason why Prince got pissed is because she caught him in a lie, because he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have all my greatest ships for the wedding or something like that."
Yes, that's right. And she's like, "Except for the 4 that you sent out there." And he's like, and she's like, "You never sent them, did you?"
And that's when he got pissed, and then killed Wesley.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kill him.
Yeah.
I was like, no, my heart is shattered.
Yeah.
I was so upset. I was like, how is this gonna happen? But Fezzik and Inigo find him.
Yeah, with the power of his father helped him out. He had the sword, and he was like, "Father, please help me find where to go." And then guide me, and he just goes into the tree, and it's like, "Oh crap, it's a tree."
Yeah, and finds
grabs
his lair.
the tree, and he finds the lair, the Pit of Despair. They ended up knocking out the albino, asking him for help. And he was like, "Yeah, rough him up a little bit," and he hits him over the head, and he just knocks him out completely.
Yep.
So yeah, they find Wesley dead. Wesley's dead, and they're like, "Oh well, all right, well let's just take him." So they take him to Miracle Max.
Yeah, Miracle Max.
Miracle Max, and Miracle Max is pissed off because he used to work for the king, and he got fired by Humperdinck fired him.
Yeah.
So he's pissed, and we see they ask him like, "Hey, we need him, work a miracle." And we see Max. At first, he didn't want to help, but we find out that obviously he's gonna go after Humperdinck. She's like, "All right, well, good. That's all you had to say. Let's work it out." And then I like the fact that they filled him up with air.
Oh yeah, they take that thing. They're like,
yeah. He's like, "What are you trying to stay alive for?" And he goes, "True love." And he goes, and then they were like, "Oh, is he dead?" He's like, "Oh, there's 2 different types of death." He's like, "You're dead, and there's mostly dead."
And he's mostly dead.
Mostly dead. They ended up making a chocolate pill.
Yep, with his wife.
Yeah, his wife Victoria. And she is the cast is crazy because that's Billy Crystal, and I forgot her name, but they're all like all these big time actors,
Yeah.
And so they get it, and they're like, "Oh well, you have to make sure you wait 15 minutes to use the pill."
Yep.
So they go to the castle, like the front part of the castle, and they see all the men that they hired to sit out there and make sure no one can get in. And then they're like, "All right, fine, we got to use this pill." And they end up using the pill, and it's slowly working, and like Wesley can barely move and all that stuff.
Yeah, he has no movement over his body at all. So Andre the Giant has to carry him.
Yeah.
Well, not Andre, Fezzik. Sorry, excuse me,
yeah.
I'm going by his real name.
Well, that's not even a real name, but that's his wrestling name. But
I'm going by his wrestling name, whatever. Yeah. Excuse me.
But I think his real name is Andre. But so yeah, they're like, "All right, well, we need you to make a plan," and he was like, "Well, I don't know what to do. We can't really do anything." And then they find out they had a wheelbarrow. He's like, "Oh, you should have told me you had a wheelbarrow. Now I know what to do."
A wheelbarrow, the things that saves lives.
Yeah. So the next part, I'm like, really? So they're like, "All right, we're gonna scare these guys." The plan to get all these guys from the entrance. They ended up having Fezzik on the wheelbarrow, and they're pushing him. He's in a big cloak that he grabbed out of his under his shirt that Miracle Max gave him, and they set him on fire. Now, if you paid attention to they obviously had a dummy, pushing it on fire, but it's completely on fire, and I'm like, if that's really a person, they would be burnt up.
Yeah,
there's no way for him to be just hanging with the cloak on, completely engulfed in flames.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, poor Fezzik getting burned up. So they ended up scaring all the guys away, and they get into the castle. And once they get in the castle, they kind of like split up because Rugen pops up, right?
Yeah. So they're going down the hallway, and as they're coming, Rugen and his men come, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Go capture them, kill them too, but keep the third one alive."
Yeah.
And Inigo takes care of all the men,
Oh yeah.
and then he's like, "I'm Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
You killed my father. Prepare to
Had to
die."
die.
And he goes to fight him,
And then
and then he just runs.
away.
He's a little chicken.
Yeah,
He runs away. So, and he goes into a room and leaves Fezzik with Wesley.
Yeah.
And he locks the door, and he's like, "Fezzik, I need your help to unlock this door." So he just smashes the door through.
Yeah.
And they're just chasing. And then Fezzik goes back to Wesley, but Wesley's missing. Where'd he go?
Yeah. And I like how Inago is like super pissed that he's getting away. He's like, Fezzik, come open this damn door.
Yeah.
He's getting away.
Yeah.
So Fezzik goes back and sees Wesley's gone. And then so we see we see Humperdinck ends up taking Buttercup and like locking her up in the room.
Well, that the father does. The king takes her, and
Yeah.
she gives him a kiss, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Why are you so nice to me?" or something. Or what was that for? And she's like, "Because I'm gonna go kill myself."
Oh yeah, yeah. And he goes, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
Oh, she gave me a kiss.
And then they lock her in the room.
They lock in her room, and then she see Wesley in the bed, and
She was gonna stab herself.
yeah, yeah,
She pulled out the dagger and had it, and literally was like holding it to her chest.
yeah,
And then Wesley makes a comment,
yeah.
and then she's like, "Oh my God, Wesley, my true love!"
Oh, yeah.
And she goes to hug him, and she's like, "Why aren't you hugging me? Why aren't you holding me back? What's wrong with you?" And
Yeah, so he still doesn't have like
full mobility.
no any mobility. So then we see Inago, he catches up to Rugen and he ends up fighting him, and then like he's just destroying him, like beating him, and he keeps on saying,
Well, they're running, and the guy Rugen throws a knife at him. Remember?
Yeah.
He threw a knife, and he's like, and he thought he killed him. He's like, "Oh, Father, I failed you. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And then he kept saying, "I am Inago
Montoya, you killed my father."
And prepare to die. And he keeps saying it over and over again. And then Rugen stabs him in both shoulders.
Both shoulders. It's kind of crazy because he was blocking with the sword and then like blocked into his arms.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like,
and then out of the middle of nowhere, he just came back and he's just starting to destroy him. He's blocking everything. And then he had the pleasure of killing him.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "You give me money." And then
he was like, "Yeah, beg for me, beg. What do you want?" And he was like, "Oh, I'll give you money. I'll give you treasure. What do you want?" He goes, "I want my father back." And he ends up killing.
Stabs him.
Oh, it was so good. It's just so good. That's such a good
like
line.
Revenge.
Yeah.
That sweet revenge.
It's just that hit hard. He's like, "Oh, I want my father back," and it ends up killing him. Yeah. And I'm surprised he didn't die because he was bleeding so much.
Yep.
From that knife wound, like constantly bleeding, arms bleeding. But then we see, what was it? Humperdinck. He comes into the room, right? I'm trying to remember. Jeez.
Yeah, he comes
in the room. He sees them,
and Wesley tricks him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have full mobility.
Yeah.
So he has to keep him from fighting because he's not going to be able to do it. So he like tricks him. He uses words, and what exactly did he say? I can't remember.
I know Humperdinck was like, "All right, let's go ahead and fight," and he was like, "You don't want to fight me because I'll do this to you. I'll cut you up." And then he was like, "Oh, you'll cut my tongue?" He was like, "Yeah. Are you gonna cut my ears?"
Oh yeah. He's like, "No, I'll keep your ears.
I'll keep your ears, so everyone, so you can hear all the people once they look at you. You'll hear how they detest, what you look like." And then he goes, what did he say? Oh, he goes, oh, maybe, he's like, why are you why are you drawing this out or something like that.
Yeah.
He goes, maybe I don't have mobility right now, or maybe I do. And then he gets up and he puts the sword and he goes, now drop your sword or something like that. Yeah, he goes, and now drop your sword. And then he goes, okay. And then he drops the sword.
Listen, he's the biggest baby and has Buttercup tie him up.
Yeah.
So he ties him to the chair. And then Inigo walks in. And they're like, oh, you got him. Should we kill him and stuff like that? He's like, no, just leave him alive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, have you seen Fezzik? Where's Fezzik? And then you hear Fezzik yelling, and he's outside with horses.
The 4, yep.
And he's like, 4 horses, 1 for each of us. And Nigo's like, you actually did something right.
Right. I mean, he did, like, sober him up. Like, they did that. He found him and sobered him up. Like... But he did some good things. He's not like just like a dumb person. Like he's all right.
Yeah, and then the Buttercup jumps out the window.
Yeah, how she just floats in the air and just falls right on the
Fezzik catches him. Yeah, catches her. Excuse me. And then the other 2 jump out the window, and then they ride away.
Just ride away.
They ride away on the horses.
And then we see Wesley and Buttercup, and they kiss.
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoy this. I think Humperdinck is a really good villain. He's super like devious, but he's a wimp at the same time. Like he didn't want to fight. Like literally, Wesley talked him down from fighting. He said, "Oh, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you." And then Humperdinck was like, "Oh, you probably will do that to me, and let me just, not fight you." Like. And they made it seem like Prince Humperdinck was a good fighter too, like
Yeah, they did, and then turns out he's a wimp.
Yeah, he's just a big wimp.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is such a great movie. I think the writing is so good. Like the all the comebacks Wesley does. Like you notice like when he was farm boy, like he didn't really talk at all, and then when he became the Men in Black, he was the Pirate Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
He was so witty, had all these comebacks to say to every person that he came up to, and he was almost like a completely different person. Like those 5 years, changed him. And I think I'm trying to remember the reason why Roberts didn't kill him, because I think he was telling him about Buttercup. He was constantly talking to her about Buttercup and true love and all that stuff. So the Pirate Robertson didn't kill him because he liked the stories he was telling him. And they come to find out he wasn't the Pirate Robertson anyway. He took over the title, and now he gave Wesley the title Prince of Pirate Robertson.
Yes, that's right. I completely forgot about that part.
Yeah. And then Wesley ends up giving it to Inigo.
Yeah.
To become the Pirate Robertson. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just like little small parts that, you catch a little bit more after you watch it the first time. You catch those little things. But yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 5, what would you rate
so
this?
our 5 stars?
Yeah.
I'm going, oh my gosh. All right. I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. It's like so good.
Honestly, I would have given it 4.5 too.
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah, it's so good. I don't want to. It's not. I won't say perfect, but it's like that. It's almost there. It's so good. The comedy, the writing, the sets, like it's so good. This movie is so good. I love this movie.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I enjoyed it. I was happy.
So
we actually reviewed a movie I liked.
Oh yeah. It's so quotable too. The inconceivable. The Inago goes, I don't think you know what that word means when you keep saying it, like just stuff like that. Inago Montoy, my father prepare to die, like as you wish. Just so many quotable lines, I just love watching this as a kid. Just love this movie.
Good movie.
So good.
Very
so
good movie.
Like I was saying, it was based off a book. Same guy who wrote the book.
Wait, we forgot one part.
What?
It ends with the kid and his grandpa.
Oh yeah.
And the kid's like, so grandpa, if you want to, you can come over again tomorrow and read it to me again.
And and then I wrote this down too when I watched it. I'm like, how long did it take for him to read this book? How long he was sitting in that room?
And that was a thick book.
Yeah. It was definitely a thick book. And I'm like, yo, that's a long time they've been reading this damn book. Like, holy crap, you gonna go do it again, Grandpa? Tomorrow? It's like, oh geez. Great.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, the book, like the actual novel, I think they skip parts, just like how they did in this one. It's so weird. Like I was just watching a video not too long ago, like the difference between the book and the movie, and just like there's some different. It's not too crazy. There's some characters, not in there. Like, what's it called? Parents, Buttercup's parents. You never even see them.
Yeah.
And a couple other characters. The albino. So it was kind of a joke they did where in the book the albino has a really like crazy voice, and then you see the albino, he starts talking with a crazy voice, and then he clears his throat and he has like a normal voice.
Yeah.
So it was like a little joke they played with that. But yeah, it's really good. Oh, the marriage. That's another thing that freaking killed me with the priest. marriage.
Yeah.
It's, oh my god, I love this movie. It's so crazy. This is definitely up there for me.
Give it a watch, guys.
Yeah, it's
let
so
us
good.
know what you think.
So good. Definitely let us know what you thought of this movie. If you remember seeing it growing up. If not, watch it and then come back and let us know. Put it in the comments below.
Or email us, whichever you
email.
prefer.
Yes, definitely.
We definitely will read it. We'll respond to everything. Nothing's going to go unread. That's a promise.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and just make sure you follow us. We're starting out, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna slowly grow, and I hope you guys are here from the beginning. So when we get up there, you're like, oh, I was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah. So I will catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.